Welcome to Fortnite Friday with Connor Eats Pants.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Which is a great show that I recommend for anybody that watches Twitch. Go check out Connor Eats Pants on Twitch.com. Real funny guy.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Hello, children.
Hello, darling.
There we are.
There we go. Hello.
Okay. We're good, man. We're all back.
We are?
All right,
Are
guys.
we good?
We have had quite the morning. My children have all called, and they're all in crisis of some kind, of whatever a 20-year-old crisis is. I left. It's not dead, I can tell you that. I left the house. Of course, my wife's out of town, so that throws everything off. So I left the house and was already pissed off because people were texting me and all this stuff. And it wasn't you, Mason. That's not what I meant. It's always children and their spouses. But
Yeah.
and then this guy in front of me driving like an idiot, and I yelled at him, and then he wanted to try to get in front of me and all the road rage, stupid shit. But anyway, we're here.
Yeah, we're here. We're
all
present.
of that. I left my notes at the house. So what's going to happen is we're going to do a Friday here for you folks because we love you and we appreciate you. We're going to do a Friday, and then I'm going to go home. Rusty's going to go home. We're going to do a regular episode online, and then we're going to tell Mason, and he's going to edit it like a pro. So there we go. Did they? You got
no.
rammed you? Mason's saying that a woman rammed him.
Rammed him. Hey, you know what a little
Like
ram.
strap on? Sorry.
Big rubber one.
Good to go.
Yeah.
I see her come behind me. You know, this is on Valley Mills. So
Right.
no one knows how to stop him.
You're on Valley
Yeah.
Mills and you're stopped.
Brakes don't work, or
Uh-huh.
just go. And it's not like bad, but she's like, I just see her coming. Like, oh, she'll
Did she-
and just get a little.
Did she just like bump you?
Yeah, she bumped me. I go for it. A little
Okay.
bit.
So
I
she didn't like-
looked at her.
She didn't like total her
You
car
should have got
into
out of the
you or
car and been
anything.
like, "Ow, my neck."
My neck, my back,
Yeah.
my P and my A.
And look at her. I think she sees my death stare face.
Death stare
I
face.
can barely see the front of her car. I just look at it like my bags didn't go, her bags didn't go. I just like see if she's like gonna cause an issue about
Yeah.
this. I just give a, are you good? She goes, yes, I'm okay.
I think she would have been the issue. Yeah.
All right, here we go, folks. Let's run this sucker. No, you're good, man. I'm sorry somebody hit you.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, guys.
I tried to fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go.
I was on in the United States. We
Yeah.
came in '94.
Boy,
and
that's not a good
it was
way
just
to
go.
get,
It was awful at that point.
Yeah. Hey, we were welcome, by the
welcome,
way, to
yeah,
BWAAA,
welcome to BWAAA.
King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm still rusty.
He's still rusty. Show him your scar.
I'm a little. I don't know if they can see. Hold on, let me get up here.
Yeah, show him your elbow. Yeah, that's somebody cut him open on his elbow. Look at that. Woo, gruesome. For you guys listen to audio, just imagine the worst thing you
Yeah.
could possibly imagine.
Yeah,
Frankenstein's penis.
it's all good. Yeah, it's
so-
pretty sewed up.
We were talking about houses, and he's looking for a house, and looking
looking
for
at
a
a
house
couple
on a
houses.
street that I used to live on. And I was telling him that the road to this house was like the worst road in the world.
Yeah, there's a picture of me somewhere. I'm gonna see if I can find it, but it's
Yeah.
me standing in front of my grandmother's house on that same street that you lived on,
Oh, really?
but drinking a Big Red. It was my first Big Red, and my
Yeah.
mom said that I looked so excited drinking it.
I bet you were. It's all
that
sugar.
She took a picture of me because she just never seen such excitement over
It's
a
sugar and
beverage
now-
before.
It's sugar and now illegal red dye number 5.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's
Maybe
what
that's
that
what's
is.
wrong with me. That's why I had to have elbow
I
surgery.
don't.
All that
and
red dye.
you folks that don't live in Texas, is Big Red's only in Texas, right?
Nah, man, Big
Or is it other
Red
places
is,
now?
believe it or not,
As I drink an HEB brand. Coke.
it's available in other places. Of course, it's predominantly in the South, but
Yeah,
it's just like with Dr. Pepper. When I was a kid growing up, you couldn't get Dr. Pepper
yeah, that's
in
true.
England readily available. But when I went and visited when I was in my 20s, they had Dr. Pepper on the shelves, and I was like, "What?" And apparently they'd had it on the shelves for years.
It's
My
amazing.
sister, my oldest sister that lives in England still, she really loves Big Red. So
Yeah,
every
when
now
you
and
start,
again, we'll send her a case.
when you start looking at the way that some of these brands have grown. You know, like Whataburger. Whataburger's featured a lot in King of the Hill, and
Yeah.
it used to only be in Texas.
Well, now they're branching out. They got
this-
bought out by that
Yeah,
company
that
in
corporation
Chicago.
bought them out, and now it's
and
like
they're
in
spreading it.
Missouri and all these other places, which does take some of the specialness away from it, I think. But
I think so too. But it's just
Whataburger
like
doesn't taste like it used to either.
I feel like it's I feel like it's like where we live at, getting an In-N-Out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
In-N-Out's
Yeah.
all like this California thing, and Californians rave about it and stuff like that. And I'm
It's
like, have you had
okay.
a double
It's
R
fine.
burger?
Yeah, it's fine.
Have you went to Double R lately?
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
not-
There's
it's
a
not-
lot better burgers in town than In-N-Out.
There definitely are. Artie, welcome. I see
Yeah,
you
welcome,
there in the
Art.
chat.
Welcome, Arthur.
Thanks for being here. Hey, buddy. I told Rusty I drove down here. It takes me about 15 minutes to get here. And I drove down here, got out, came all the way. Well, when I got out, I realized that I had left all of my hard work at home, my notes and all the stuff that I meticulously do before every one of these episodes. And it's not a joke. I mean, I really do. I go line by line by line.
Yeah, no, it's
highlight it,
definitely-
make lots of notes and all this stuff.
Definitely
So
a good 2-3 hour ordeal, I'm sure.
it takes me, I don't know. I've got it
For a
down to
20
where
minute show is probably like an hour and a half.
I'll take it.
probably.
I've got it down to where it takes me an hour and a half, something like that. And
Yeah.
it's not that bad anymore. You know, when we first started, it took me 3 hours to do one freaking episode.
Yeah, but I mean, we've been doing it now
Yeah,
for years, so eventually you kind of streamline the
Well,
process.
there's also a cadence that I picked
yeah.
up on. You know, the way that the way that this stuff works. And
The show
so
flows the same way.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
well, it's the
Yeah.
same basic structure
Yeah.
pretty much throughout the whole series.
I can 100% tell you when a commercial break's coming up. You know,
you can feel
that
it.
kind of thing.
Yeah, you can feel it. You
Yeah,
can feel
just from the written part of it.
Mine is different. But I don't, of course, since you're the one that's reading it, I don't go line
Yeah,
by
sure.
line like you do.
Yeah.
I do read the script with the show as I watch it though. So I'll watch it 2 or 3 times and I'll pause and I'll, kind of think about what I want to talk about on certain parts of it and things like that. But I've never been a big note taker. If I did what you were doing,
Yeah.
I would have to take a lot of notes for sure. And then if we were doing something like we did when we were doing the David Letterman show, I came in with a notebook every time with like 5 pieces of paper with full of scribbles and scratches and everything.
Yeah. The thing about these is it's like you can get super deep in the weeds on these things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I have gotten to the point where I pick out, I don't know, 4 or 5 things in an episode and actually make, a few bigger notes about them, just simply because like it'll be, if I were to try to notate everything in an episode, it would take me 3 hours.
Yeah, it would take
because
forever.
there are a lot of Easter eggs in episodes. There's a lot of extra stuff.
That's what we
that
have Artie
happens.
for.
Yeah. Artie helps us out.
He helps me with that.
immensely with that.
Every now and again, there'll be one that he'll hit me with, and I'll be just like, "Yeah, I would have never."
Yeah, no
thought
kidding,
about
right?
that. Like what was it recently? He had one where, like the ones where he calls back to like episode 3 seasons
Yeah,
ago or
yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
That's
and
a big
it's
one.
like a continuity
That's a
thing,
big one.
but
for
it only
us.
shows up in 2 episodes, and it's like 3 seasons later, kind of thing.
Yeah. By
Those
the
kind of
way, and I don't
continuities.
know that we give him enough credit. Artie
No, he does a good job.
is in the background and he sends us notes and keeps up with the show. And honestly, he's become such a like integral part of this show. Artie, I just want you to understand how much we appreciate everything you do and how you always show up, man. You are the backbone of the fans out there, and we do really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, like I said, we just don't give you enough credit sometimes. We say thanks, but that's not enough. Anyway, so today we are in the end of January here, which is hard to believe.
Yep.
We're 2 weeks into the 47th president's term.
Yep.
Which
Fortunately, unfortunately,
going about like
depending on
they
who you
told
are.
us it would. We have
Man
had
of his word. A man of his word, if nothing else.
Say it again.
I said he's a man of his word. If
Well,
nothing
that's
else.
true.
He said
Yeah.
he said I'm gonna do this, and he did that. So
He's a man of his word. The problem is he says so many words.
yeah.
Anyway, we hope that you're enjoying our show as kind of a distraction. One thing I'm gonna go off into one little conspiracy theory thing here,
Yeah.
and then we'll get to our topic. Did you see the explanation as to why the drones are over New Jersey?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
I did see. I'll let you say your conspiracy
Yeah,
theory,
sure,
but I did
sure.
see a JFK thing that I thought was interesting.
Well, they're releasing all the old conspiratorial stuff.
yeah.
So you get,
but it's all heavily redacted. That's the
Sure.
problem. Yeah.
well, you get MLK's assassination, you get JFK's assassination, you get all of this stuff. Chuck freaking Schumer is calling for the release of all the UFO documents. It's such a weird friggin' world we live in right now.
It's very
it's just
idiocratic.
It's like a cartoon all of a sudden, you know. It's just everything and anything that could be thrown at us is thrown at us. So the drones in New Jersey, what I read is that they are practicing for war against China. So that's fun.
Yeah, I heard that they were nuclear radiation detecting drones, and they were detecting for dirty bombs on the East Coast. No, but really the JFK thing that it was actually Carlson Tucker. Take it with a grain of salt.
Carlson Tucker or Tucker Carlson?
What is it? Is it Tucker Carlson? I don't know. I mean, Carlson Tucker.
You need to start a YouTube channel called Carlson Tucker. Or Tucker, whatever.
I probably get the
reverse.
I probably get the shit suit out of me.
And then just idiot conspiracy theories.
Just say what. Just sit there and say whatever. Yeah.
Infowars 2. This time it's personal.
Talk about how Larry Bird was an Irishman, an Irish spy or something. Yeah.
He loved his car bombs.
But the JFK thing, it was talking about how Donald Rumsfeld had sent a letter to the Attorney General, which was his brother, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his brother was the Attorney General.
Seems fair.
So Donald Rumsfeld sent a letter to his brother saying that because one of the things that JFK spoke out against was Zionism, and he wanted to put it was the American Jewish League or something. It was some kind of Jewish Jewish American lobby.
Okay.
But he wanted to label them as agents of Israel.
Okay.
And Donald Rumsfeld said this would upset the Jewish population and all this.
Well, I can see why.
And then shortly after that letter's written, of course, you get a guy in a school book depository blowing JFK's head off, and the entire conspiracy that involves in that. So I thought that was kind of crazy that they're trying to blame it on Israel. That's what Tucker Carlson was talking about. And then he was talking about like an even greater conspiracy where it's all a CIA thing. So it's like the CIA wanted JFK to invade Cuba, and he had no desire to invade Cuba. So they did the whole Bay of Pigs thing. And then after that, they say that the CIA did the Nixon scandal with all the stuff surrounding Nixon, and that the FBI was feeding it, and the deep throat guy was somebody who was feeding information from the FBI to the Washington, what was it, the Post or something?
Yeah, Washington
Gazette,
or
whatever it was. It was a newspaper out of Washington, and they were feeding the information to this guy, and then that conspiracy ties into something else. So it's all like the industrial military complex that Eisenhower, like Eisenhower's last big speech was about the industrial military complex and how it's a dangerous thing to get into a perpetual war cycle.
Oh, sure it is.
And the conspiracy is that JFK never wanted to go to war in Vietnam or anything like that. So the CIA had him killed so the CIA could continue on with the perpetual cycle of war, which we've been in since JFK. We have been in a constant state of war since JFK got murdered.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Like I said, I like conspiracy theories sometimes.
There's so much money in it.
It's just a really deep one.
That's the thing. It all comes down to money.
It's a really, really deep one. I don't like getting too far into them, and I'm not really a big fan of some of the guys that are like in government right now. But Kash Patel has a book all about like.
I haven't been a fan of anybody in government in a very
long time. Yeah, very long time.
Not just this current administration.
But the guy that he's putting as his FBI director or whatever it is, this Kash Patel guy, he has a book where he kind of dives into this deeper conspiracy theory stuff about the CIA and stuff like that, because that was one of the things that RFK Jr. said, is that JFK wanted to throw
where did he go,
CIA to the wind. Where did he go?
Where's RFK Jr.?
He's just a little quiet. He's just a little quiet. You know why he's being quiet is because he is a career politician and he doesn't want to stick his foot in his mouth.
There dissecting a bear
before he goes and sits and does his confirmation hearing. I think he's just quiet because he knows the confirmation hearing's coming up and he doesn't want to say something too outrageous.
Artie had a nice one here. He said he's going to release all the files except the Epstein files.
Which is
pretty spot on.
Pretty damning.
Yeah. Hey, but let me just say this: a lot of weird shit going on in the world.
Yeah, conspiracy.
A lot of bad stuff going on in people's families. There's always things happening. You know, I told my wife, like, every time these kids, and we got 5 of them, you know, every time they text and they need money or they got this or they got that or whatever. it just feels like this constant weight of bricks on my shoulders, like it just something is just pushing me down into the fucking hole in the earth all the time. But I will tell you this show can be a respite from those things.
Yeah.
We can just talk about nothing for a while and we can all enjoy it. And honestly, right now, this world needs more of this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying my show and Rusty's show is going to save the world or anything, but
no, definitely not.
What I'm saying is we need distractions. And also, by the way, we can talk about this stuff as much as we want. We can't do a damn thing about it.
No.
And so
I wouldn't want to, honestly. If I changed anything about it, it would be less entertaining. That's the one thing about imagine when politics used to be boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Imagine when Walter Cronkite would just give you the news and he would tell you that's the way the cookie crumbles, and that was all you got.
Have those days. That would be great. But what I'm saying is, I can't care enough. You know what I mean?
You know what's else
I
exciting
just
to
can't
watch?
give a shit about it enough.
I like the live feed of the British Parliament.
Yeah,
they get wild.
Oh yeah, they get nuts.
Fuck you, mate.
Artie says Eisenhower drew up the Bay of Pigs invasion. JFK didn't want to do it, but the military was ready to go, so they did it.
Yeah.
Again, it all goes back to money and power. That's all it ever is. But you know what doesn't have any money or power? Us, and we're here. So we are going to talk about something that Rusty knows a lot about. I know very little about.
I know a little.
It came up in the news. And King of the Hill and the characters from King of the Hill, such as Hank and Bobby and Dale, are going to be in Fortnite.
Fortnite, yeah, that's that
they
sounds
have silly to me, but let's talk about it for a minute.
Well, there's a big Fortnite leaker. It's I'm trying to remember
leaker.
There's somebody. It's like a guy who does data mining on Fortnite, and
like
generally when they're data mining stuff, they pull out little bits of data that are in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's data that's not necessarily being used yet.
Yeah,
and it'll give like an indicator of what might be coming next, kind of thing. They used to do it with GTA 5 online and stuff before updates. They would have like they would do these little patches, and they would slowly add the data a little bit at a time. You could mine through the data. Well, FNBR Intel on X and or Twitter, whatever you call it these days, he leaked that Hank Hill is the only one that's been like leaked. They haven't really leaked any information about any other character or whatever.
I can't imagine
special
that's the only
shit
one
they
would
have
put in there, because I would think everybody would want to play as Bobby or Dale.
I imagine the ones that you'll get is probably Bobby, Dale, Hank, and maybe Peggy.
Because I mean, Dale, can't you work in the pocket sand kind of thing?
Yeah, you could probably work in the pocket
sand.
sand.
People, or whatever,
you could probably work in the purse kicking in the nuts thing. Peggy's big feet. I mean, something like that. Like it's fun to speculate about what they're going to do or what they're going to have. Well, in the game, you have different things, different like cosmetic attachments or whatever.
Right, sure.
So you got a mining pick, and then you have a backpack, then you have a glider. So people are speculating on what Hank's pick might look like, like if it's a hoe or whatever, and then like Hank's glider, what it might look like.
So there's
I wouldn't even know what he would have as a glider or whatever.
I think
it's really interesting.
When we first started streaming way back in the day, this is probably 6-7 years ago, we would stream from an internet cafe.
Yeah.
And or a LAN or whatever you want to call it. But a lot of computers, kids would come in, they're the ones that are afraid of sunlight. They would come in and they would sit there and they would play video games. And occasionally one of them would scream out, kill, 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 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to fuck your mother or whatever. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's a group, right? It's a group. But that's when Fortnite came out. And it was all about the dances at first.
The
right?
Fortnite
all
dances.
About getting in
yeah,
there
they
and
still
dancing.
have those. So I imagine Hank will probably have his own specific. It's called emoting, is what they call it. But Hank will probably have his own.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but Fortnite in general is just capture the flag for the most part, right?
No, what Fortnite is called a battle royale. Well, there's a bunch of different game modes now, but when the game first came out, before it even had the battle royale, it was just battling aliens. And
really, it was battling aliens to begin with.
That's what it was to begin with. It was called Save
I thought
the
you
Earth,
were dropped in.
Save the World. Well, see, that's not the original Fortnite.
Okay.
So that was the add-on, was the battle royale mode, and that's really what kicked off the battle royale market for games where now you've got Call of Duty that does it, and they've got like PUBG is another one that does it. But Fortnite was like the first ones to kind of innovate this play style. And they're also Epic Games is the one that owns the big engine Unreal.
Right.
That they have the big Unreal engine. So they're pretty much crucial to a lot of video game development because
What's up, Mr. Z?
they create the engine that games are created in. So Fortnite itself, it was just Save the World or Save the Earth. I can't remember what it was called.
Mhm.
And you would just fight waves of aliens. Well, then they came out with Battle Royale, and Battle Royale, Mike, is 100 players dropped in. You could either be one, solo. You could be two duos, or you could be,
Right.
four players together, whatever. And whenever you drop in, you're given the whole map to start off with, and then the circle, they call it the storm. The storm gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it forces you to fight. So there's people in a lot of games that'll just camp and sit in one spot and try to kill people from one spot.
Sure.
But the whole premise of the Battle Royale and stuff is they want to encourage you to the game designers encourage you to fight. So the circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and then eventually you're in this small circle, and whoever's left is just a battle to the end to see who wins. And eventually the circle gets really small. Once it's really small, if you're inside that circle, the circle itself will move until somebody wins.
Okay.
And when you're in the storm, you take health damage. So if you stay in the storm too long, you die. So they encourage you to get into this. It's by design to force you to fight, force combat.
Okay.
So they pretty much started that scene or whatever.
But it's also open world, right?
Well, that's the thing is they have, since it's a game engine, they have opened it up to, it's kind of like Roblox, I guess.
So
is another way
Fortnite
to
at
do
this
it.
point is a game engine, just like Roblox or
it's like Roblox.
Minecraft
I would compare it more to Roblox than say Minecraft.
So you're making games within games.
People are making games within the game now.
Okay.
There's all kinds of game modes. So yeah, there is a capture the flag. There is all these other different things. They're about to come out with a life simulator inside of it where you could ride around and have an apartment and go to work
wonderful.
and play games and do whatever. But I really think that it's cool how these things come about. Like Roblox, I never thought I would ever find myself as a grown man playing Roblox, but I've got kids, so my 14-year-old, he played Roblox a lot, and he still plays some of the games that are on there. But it's the fact that you could take a game and create a game inside of this engine that makes it appealing. Because
there's companies that do that. I mean, they're literally making games inside the game and making money at it.
That's what they said. Fortnite just released Epic Games just released this big thing showing how much money they've given away to creators, and 7 people that develop stuff inside of Fortnite made 10 million plus last year.
Wow.
So it's not like it's not a reality to make money doing it.
It's a whole new world.
And there's people making millions, and there's even more making hundreds of thousands doing it. And the thing that I liked about it was like with Roblox, there's this tornado chasing game inside of it where you're a storm chaser and you have storm chasing equipment. And I like storms and all that kind of stuff. And I actually chase. I mean, if anybody's ever seen my car, it's full of hail damage. I actually have chased storms. I'm actually a Skywarn storm spotter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For the National Weather Service.
Yeah.
But I just think that it's just such a unique time in gaming, because you don't have to rely on AAA game developers anymore for good.
We went to a place up near Dallas called, God, I always want to call it Trinity, but it's not. It's anyway, it's this huge game studio. I mean, they had these screens that were 2 stories high and would wrap around you and go on the ceiling and stuff. And it was all Unreal Game Engine developed,
which is owned by Epic Games.
But they would, they're not only a video game development house, but they're also VFX for like movies and stuff like that. Cool. Right. Yeah. So you could literally pull a car in there and then light it all up around it. And you don't have to do green screen or anything, because it looks like you're in an environment.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And they've got 3 of these things in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
But the thing we went to was for like the I'm probably going to say it wrong, but it was like International Game Developers Association or something like that. Because my buddy Casey, he started the game development program out at TSTC, and he's always developed games. He's always made a lot of stuff and things like that. And he, I want to give him credit. He was the first guy I knew to make a radio. And this sounds really simplistic when I say this, but it wasn't at the time. A radio player for the internet. And
kind of like what Mark Cuban or whatever.
Well, it was just the fact that you had a widget that could sit on your web page that you could then pipe your radio signal through, right? Yeah. And we took it to all these places and tried to sell it to them.
Nobody cared.
And they were all like, nobody's ever going to listen to the internet on the radio. Like, okay, well, shit.
We were Mark just Cuban jumped on it. Now he's a billionaire.
Yeah, we were just early is all it was.
A little too early.
Yeah, and we were in Waco. Nobody's going to buy it here.
Not around here, no.
But anyway.
Well, Mark Cuban was in Dallas. Where did he sell? I wonder how he got his.
Don't let him fool you. He's from Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. He's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's from Pittsburgh, but he came to Texas and he was part of the PayPal crew and all that stuff and sold all that off and then got into video on the internet and different things.
Because I know one of the things that he did was went to sports. He went to sports teams and stuff.
Yeah, he owns Dallas Mavericks.
Well, I mean, with his online radio thing, he went to actual sports.
Yeah.
I think that's what blew his up because, like we've talked about here before, how we've started the sports thing here too with Rogue. Sports is really one of the big things in media. I mean, I know I watch a lot of sports media. I watch more sports media than I watch anything else.
This doesn't really have anything to do with what we're talking about. By the way, let me give him credit. Mr. Z is in here. He says Hank doesn't dance unless it's boot, scoot, and boogie at Sugarfoot's. Which is very true. And then Artie says Hank dances at Ugly's Saloon, which is absolutely. I love the fact that they have a place called Ugly's in the. It's just
Sugarfoot's is a restaurant, isn't it? I don't think he'd be dancing at a restaurant.
Well, maybe.
Or is it a bar?
Maybe.
Like a bar
it's big enough. Maybe they move the buffet over and you just do a little boot
dance
scoot
on the buffet.
We're hosting a thing called the Waco Block Party in March.
Yeah.
And part of that is a big Battle of the Bands, right? It's a 3-day event that we host. So it's a premiere night, the Friday before, then Saturday all day long with bands on the street and stuff. And I think we're going to have 15, 20 bands at this one. It's huge. At this point now, it's going to take up 3 different blocks all around this place and stuff.
That's awesome.
You pay the city to close off the blocks and do all these things. But I don't know if I told you, I went to an event at Antone's in Austin that was hosted by Adam Curry, who used to be a VJ on MTV.
Yeah.
He's big in the podcasting world and does this thing called Value for Value. Value for Value is a way for people to pay creators as they watch it live or as they listen to your stuff later or whatever. Anyway, that's a lot of explanation that doesn't need to be done here. But I was able to meet some folks that were helping with the event. These 2 people, last name Costello, they run Phantom Power Music is what this thing is called, right? Their daughter is a big, Artie says, Sugarfoot's only event other than being a restaurant ever shown was when Luann boxes in the back room. Well, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Maybe she's boxing there, and they moved the buffet over, and people are
everywhere,
are sugarfooting up front. But anyway, these folks, their daughter is like this huge music star within this movement.
Oh, cool.
So she'll get up there, and there'll be a monitor next to it, and as she's singing in front of 100 people, in a club like Antone's, then over on the side, you're seeing as people are donating this sign light up and all this stuff, and it's able to take. What they do is they deal a lot in Bitcoin and fractions of Bitcoins, right? So they're called Satoshis. So like if I give you 1,000 Satoshis, it's probably worth 10 cents or whatever, right? So it's
for sure.
It's very small fractions.
Yeah, no, I know a little bit about Bitcoin.
But that night they raised something like 5 million Satoshis, which still is like, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000, whatever it is, right? So that's a really big deal for an online thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's a mixture, it's a hybrid, it's online and in person. Anyway, this lady who was basically running the thing took me and Casey, and we got to go into the bowels of Antone, and I got to go to the back rooms and see the production and all this stuff that was going on. And we got to talking. She is gonna for $1,500, which seems very cheap to me. They're bringing their whole team, and they're going to help us produce the Battle of the Bands and the Texas Creator Awards the next night.
Oh, wow.
And value for value it, so that it's on the internet, it's streamed, and people can pay or they can help or whatever, right? However you want to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But when they leave, we will then be equipped to do that with everything. You know,
Yeah.
we'll know how to set it up. We'll have done 2 events, all this stuff. So I'm super excited about that. I don't know what
Yeah,
that
no,
has to
that's
do with
exciting.
video games.
Yeah,
When I
that's
started talking
exciting
about
for
it, but
sure.
there you go. Hey, the last thing I want to get to here, because this is a Friday, there was a King of the Hill video game at one point. Have we ever talked about that?
No, I don't think we have. It was a PC game.
November 13th, 2000 for PC and Macintosh. It was called Hootenanny, which I'm not sure why they needed to call it anything but King of the Hill video game. It says, you are welcome to the neighborhood with a list of things in the mail. Upon taking out the trash, you see Hank, Dale, Bill, and Boomhauer in the alley, and the simulation begins. There are several mini games that you can play. They include mini golf, lawnmower race, paintball, scavenger hunt, and tic-tac-toss. Okay. You can also explore a limited part of the town. In the beginning of Texas Hunting, you start out by getting a hunting license. You meet the guys, and they invite you to their hunt. So
the abandonware is available too, because it's been obviously it's just abandoned. It's not something that anybody gives a shit about. It's on archive.org or on the Internet Archive, but it's also on abandoned. There's a website for just abandoned, video game, computer stuff. myabandonware.com. You could also find it on. The problem is if you do it, you're not going to be able to just run it on your computer these days. You're going to have a virtual machine on your computer. Yeah, you're going to have a virtual machine running on your computer.
You have to have a virtual machine to run a PC game?
Yeah, for this game, for sure. Huh. You have to run it. You have to run it as Windows ME or Windows 95 or 98 because it's so old. And that's the problem. There is you have to use a virtual machine compatible with the 64-bit computers.
I thought that you could backwards run one of these things, like you could tell
some
it
games
to run
you can,
ads.
but not that old.
Okay.
You could do it with like games from probably like 08, 07, 06.
I just want to see what some of this
but that's
like.
just too far back.
This is 2000. Yeah. It's not. It's obviously not a great game. But
it's only 307 megabytes too.
I think it's
this year than ever,
right?
So there goes. Pick which blind you'd like to visit first.
Now, so many years later, King of the Hill is getting back into video games, basically. Through another one.
Yeah, through another deal. And you know what?
interesting.
This might even open up. Like we were talking about how they create video games inside of video games. You might get somebody that recreates Arlen inside of Fortnite, and you're fighting in Arlen.
Yeah.
Like
now that you've reviewed the week,
I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm excited to see what all the creators create out of it. I'm not a video game creator, otherwise I would create Arlen, but it's gonna be cool.
I love that right there, where they're all just standing straight and just staring at you. That's
It's very reminiscent of like Oregon Trail. Somebody needs to do that. Oregon Trail.
It's not an easy.
They could go on a trip. Yeah.
That's what that looks like.
Look,
hunting,
go ahead
hunting
and put whatever gear you want to bring into the back of my truck.
Clothing.
Yeah,
I only have room for 8 items.
What you would do in?
It's just a bunch of hunting.
See, that looks like the Oregon Trail hunting too.
Yeah, it's not great. This is this entire video is
with the different
the history of Oregon
hour.
Trail is kind of crazy
As
too.
in life,
It started by teachers.
Video.
It was started by a bunch of teachers in Minneapolis.
Oh, really?
And Prince was one of the first people to. He was because he was a student in the Minneapolis school system whenever Oregon Trail was being
Find
released.
everyone here.
And actually, Prince is like one of the first students to get to play Oregon Trail.
So now you got paintball.
Listen up.
Basically, it's just
there's only one way to win. You got to hit me, unlikely,
same game over
or one of the
over
other guys 3 times.
For the most part. I mean, this is like a block party you're going to or something here. And then anyway, I thought it was super interesting to take a look at this game because it is rough. Now the graphics aren't terrible. The graphics are decent, but the little games, I've never understood why when they make games like this, they try to reduce them to such small things like, oh, let's throw in a paintball game. Oh, let's do a deer hunting game or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
lawnmower race, Hill Family Yard.
The properties,
think you can handle it?
that are there. I mean,
Yeah,
I would rather
absolutely.
just have a virtual Hank Hill that I talk to, or
Here in
something, you know,
Arlen,
or
we measure
something like that,
success
right?
by
Yeah.
the yard.
But
Front
at the
yard and
time,
backyard.
everybody thought you had to
So
make
pick
into
your
these all these
opponent,
little mini
choose one
games
of
and stuff.
Mason's
You
finest
remember
mowers,
the Burger
and
King
get ready to
games?
race.
Remember the Xbox games from Burger King?
Yeah, I do remember them. I had one of them. They were actually pretty well done for.
They were very well done. Again, they were things where it was like, okay, this
Better
one
quit
you're
fooling
racing mini cars. This one you're eating into the Burger King or whatever.
That's
you know?
the one I had. With,
Yeah. And so, yeah, they're just very reductive. And I understand if they're giving them away. Maybe I'll walk or whatever.
Yeah.
They were $5.99.
You're straining the seams on the back.
There's
Come on, empty it.
such a history in video games of making this kind of garbage. And,
yeah, I love it.
but, you know, another thing. But look at that. So King of the Hill, Fortnite, Luke, no, you did not miss the episode. We've got a rough day. We're going to do the full episode here in a little bit. We're doing it Friday. And let's come and make it. And
Hey, you're keeping up with the hills.
But thank you all for joining us this weird, wacky Friday that we did.
There's a video game.
It was kind of odd.
It was definitely targeted for an 18 to 35 male audience.
It was an 18 to 35 male audience. Please bring the women in the room. But again, life out of town. We go feral real quick. So thank you guys for the we'll go home and we'll do the so if you're listening to this on a Friday, just know we did this first.
Yeah,
but
we did them in a different
Well,
order.
you
we did
tried.
a different order. But
At
we
least
love
I
you
think
guys.
you did.
We appreciate you being here.
And if you're currently present in our live chat on YouTube and you haven't, please subscribe, hit the notification
Are you
bell.
good at video games?
And I don't.
Yeah.
I just
Okay, you got game.
If you're
I'll step
listening to
off
this
then.
just on audio, we would appreciate it if you go over to YouTube and hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 this time by maybe like second, third quarter. We're at like 640 right now, so we're really not that far. I know there's enough people that listen to our show that we can hit 1,000 pretty quick.
We want 1,000 subscribers before the aliens show up.
Yeah, before the aliens
is all
get
we're
here.
saying. You know,
but also on that note, we will be back. So everybody that's currently in the live and you want to listen to us do the episode live, just hang on. Give us about 30, 40 minutes.
Probably within the next hour. We'll get up and going.
We'll get up and go, and
Yeah.
we'll get that because we got to get it done before 2:00 because
What happens at 2?
Eagles versus Washington Commanders.
I thought it was 3.
No, I think that was it's at 2, and then the next game's at 5:30. We'll get it done by then.
All right,
We'll have
we'll
plenty
get
of
it done.
time.
Either
We got
way, we'll
plenty
get
of
it
time
done.
to get it done.
All right, guys.
But,
thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We love you, and we'll be back here in just a few minutes. But
Hang tight, guys.
I already think you're insulting them on. All right, guys. Love you. See you later.
Tanya.
We Matanye indeed, mofo.
BWAAA trash fight all through the night. Deep in the heart of Texas, the trailer park is nice and dark. Deep in the heart of Texas, Ted drinks his brew and he spits his chew.